welcome everybody. Welcome to the Legendarium podcast. Todd loves it when I do these intros.
Oh my goodness, you sound like the 1970s jazz station. Hey everybody, I'm glad to have you here. That's just nuts.
This is Craig Hanks with your 5 for the drive. No, glad to have you with us. The reason I'm doing that is because I have no idea what we're doing today. Let me read to you the prompt that we have for this episode. Okay, this is from our Discord server, and Lady Sweden says, "You should treat us to a first-class super tangenty episode. I've been longing for one of those. Your wish is our command." So, are you guys ready for unbelievable nonsense?
Super tangential kind of episode? Oh, so basically who we normally are.
Well, no, that's the thing is, okay, so let me back up. I'm Craig. I'll be hosting, of course, as usual. We got Ryan and Todd with us. Hey, guys.
We haven't even been able to do a solid intro on this.
Oh, I know. This is I'm kind of aiming for this, okay? Because today, so if you're not a longtime listener to the show, abort. Okay, this is okay. Ryan, what?
Wave off.
No,
Wave off.
Going,
What's the joke?
Nope, keep going.
The reason being, some people who enjoy this show seem to enjoy the episodes where we just kind of kick it for an hour and talk about whatever. But this is not going to be focused. Hopefully it will be fun. I guess we'll see. Ryan looks extremely dubious at this whole prospect.
Well, considering that our warm-up has basically been like a reading of Grumpier Old Men.
Oh my gosh. So that's true. I made the mistake of allowing both Ryan and Todd into my studio at the same time. We split up into red and blue teams for a reason, and part of the reason is because when these two get together and start talking about stage stuff, talking about plays they're in or directing or whatever.
Yeah, that kind of is how it
Oh
happened,
my
isn't it?
gosh.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, let's just say I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And I prefer to keep it that way.
Okay. And we'll allow that. I mean, that's your choice.
So, no. Okay. So, yeah, you guys were getting very grumpy about certain things, job searches and plays. And then I was like, hey, you guys ready to make an episode? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
If we have to. Oh, it's going to be one of those days.
Okay. So, what should we talk about first, you guys? Now, I guess we should say we were asked recently, Todd, on Discord about whether there is an episode for our appearance at Salt Lake FanX. I don't think there is.
There's not. I talked to him. I talked to the tech group, and they were thinking about being able to do that. And then I said, hey, is there, let us know what we need to do. And I showed up, and they didn't have any information for us. And they were kind of at their wits' end trying to make sure everything got strung together, and so I didn't push it. And I just said, all right, we'll just do our thing. I don't think it's going to be worth trying to fight it. And it's probably a good thing that we didn't try and fight it, because both of the tech people left.
In the middle of our performance?
Not even in the middle.
Performance.
Not even in the middle. It was 5 minutes in, and they were both like, you know what? These guys know what they're doing. We're gone. And they were both out of sight. And I'm like, all right.
Is that why nobody's mics were working?
That's why we were having problems with the mics.
Yeah. Anyway, so point being, we went to FanX. Salt Lake has its very, very large Comic-Con, but for legal reasons they have to call it FanX now. So anyway, so we were invited to go on stage, and we did this a couple of years ago. We did a trivia kind of competition, just something fun for us to do with each other and involve the audience and all that. And so people are like, "Oh, don't you have the audio or the audio from that stage appearance?" No, and that's okay.
It's probably better that we don't, because I got to tell you, after the first probably 2 questions, I was wondering whether or not we were going to be able to hold it all together, and it was only because we started making fun of each other. Well, no, it was only because we were making fun of Craig that it really started to work, and apparently everybody liked it from that point forward. So I kind of kept running with that.
Yeah,
Craig was prevented from answering questions.
Yeah,
for a while.
We just kind of get to a point also where I was like, oh, it's better for me just to dive on the sword on every question that I don't have an answer to than to try and take this too seriously.
Oh, and those were awesome.
So
So yeah, basically it just turned into question joke. Maybe somebody in the audience knows the answer. Doesn't matter. Joke. And most of them weren't very good, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, it just. So as I said to somebody on Discord, that's okay. It was okay at best.
It was for what it was intended to be just a moment of lighthearted activity in the middle of all of this FanX attention. I think the people that were there were satisfied because they had fun laughing at it and enjoying with us, and it took a little while for it to get going, but yeah, I think they had a good time. But I think if I were to go back and watch that, I would want to gouge my own eyes out because it was just awful.
So anyway, I thought today...
So we're going to do that again.
Yeah. I thought today we would recreate that eye gouging experience. So I asked Todd to bring the questions. We're going to skip the Dune questions because Ryan and I are both...
The Dune questions were awesome, though.
Okay.
That was one of the problems.
Todd,
they were so good.
You know you're old, right? Like, you know this.
Is that why the Dune questions were good?
Yeah, that's why the Dune questions were good. Because you're
man, I hate it when that
we
happens.
didn't do that bad on the Dune questions. A little bit. It was because Ken was supposed to be there and
that's right.
He wasn't.
When we built these questions, we kind of built it so that there was going to be we knew we were going to have the Wheel of Time questions covered pretty well, and I figured Ken would be there, so we would have the Dune questions covered, and then we had the Marvel stuff, so that was going to be fine.
Yeah.
Ken's not there. I'm the only one that had the answers to most of the Dune questions, and I'm like, and I can't quiz myself because that would not be fair. So
anyway, Todd, you want to?
You want to hear some of these?
Instead of joke, maybe Ryan and I can actually try to because I don't remember most of the questions if I'm being honest.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, Ryan's gonna kick my ass.
That's what I was like when you were like, hey, bring the questions. I'm like, why? I already remember we've already been through these.
Ryan has that kind of memory. One time through and he remembers it forever.
So I'm definitely not this way. Like, people ask me about, hey, do you remember what you said during the episode on Winter's Heart, the second Winter's Heart episode when you guys were off on this? No, I remember nothing.
At minute 32,
I had to go back. So Ryan and I and Kyle just did our Black Cauldron episode, which I thought was a lovely episode.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking me about a specific instance, and we had recorded it no more than 1 week prior, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to listen to that again. So I had to put it on in the car and listen to it again. I guess I create so much content day in and day out that eventually I just had to open up the hole in the other ear and just let it all pour out as I pour it in, So I don't know. Ryan, you seem to have a better head for this sort of thing.
I have an idiotic memory where I can remember stupid things perfectly.
All right.
I like that. I like that. I'm going to steal that from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that one. Actually, people are probably saying that. All right.
Well, okay. So let's do a few trivia questions, and then people who are listening, we'll give them 5 seconds.
All right.
Before Ryan and I start punching.
Should we start? Should we start the same way that we did with the Wheel of Time?
Yeah,
questions?
but we're skipping Dune. We're not doing Dune.
Sorry. We're going to do at least two Dune questions.
No, we're not.
There's
doing
at
Dune.
least 2. Okay. So, what was the name from Wheel of Time? What is the name of the last battle?
Ryan?
Tarmangaiden.
Okay, all right. He's got that one. What's the next one, Todd?
You said to give the audience 5 seconds.
I did.
The countdown.
Everybody's like, did my radio just turn off?
So this is the one that we had some discussion on. What is the name of the Dark One's prison?
Oh, that's right. So because somebody said Shale Ghoul, but
that's correct.
That's not right. It's the boar, right? Or no, the boar is the hole into the prison.
Is specifically where he's held, but Shale Ghoul is where the boar is located.
Right, so. But it's his that's his fortress. It's not his prison. I don't know. I'm a little hazy on that one.
So this was one where as my team on the green team that found these questions for us, they can defend themselves later on Discord.
Okay, that's fine.
It's okay. I think Shale Ghoul is right. It's like saying Princess Leia was kept on the Death Star and not on cell block 1138. Like it's
she was
the same.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
The answers are both correct.
Detention block AA-23. Yeah. Okay. What is Moradin's title in the hierarchy of the Dark One? I was very impressed, Ryan, that you had this.
Yeah. No, I want you to recreate your answer. You were very quick on this one.
Nameless.
Yeah, Nameless. Yeah,
Nameless.
Very good.
And then, what are the names of the 2 sides of the power?
Well, that one's easy. Sidar and Sidene. So that one we're not even.
And
we're not waiting on that one.
But the best part of that one for me during that was that somebody said Sidene and Sidar, and I said, nope, you're wrong, because that's Sidar and Sidene. And I don't.
And you think this is clever? This is the kind of humor that we expect here on the Legendarium.
Yes, and the audience liked it too. Who was the most... okay, this one caused a significant amount of controversy as well. Who was the most beautiful woman among the Forsaken?
And what did you answer, Ryan?
I didn't. We gave it to the audience member to answer.
What did they say?
Lanfear.
Lanfear.
Which is
correct, right?
And all I said afterwards was that Grendel deserved a shout out, and people were like, "No, no, boo,
you whore, boo, you whore,
princess of filth." So which of the Forsaken is the most gifted in Tel Aran Riod?
Tel Aran Riod. That is so with the spider. Yeah, Mogideon. Thank you. Yeah,
Mogideon.
Right, that's what she's called. The spider. Is that?
Yes, Mogideon is a spider.
Yeah, don't worry, we're not getting into any spoilers with any of this. So yeah, don't worry.
Or if we are, boy, oh well.
Congratulations, you now know the nickname of one of the Forsaken.
And it will help you none. It will still be a surprise when you get to it.
All right, Todd, what else we got?
Who was the most powerful among the Forsaken?
And I wasn't sure about this one. It is the guy that's down south and only shows up.
Well, let's not go there.
Yeah. Never mind. All right. We'll leave that one because it's a little spoilery.
Yeah, okay.
I think, it depends.
And the bonus question was, Randall Thor is the reincarnation of who?
Luz Theron Telamon.
Yeah, there you go.
Now,
except your original answer was Luz Theron Telamond.
My favorite moment.
That was fantastic.
One of my favorite moments, because Craig immediately popped up to the microphone and was like, "There's no D in there," and I said, "Well, I'm going to give him wait." And then Craig was like, "Wait a minute, you're going to give him the I caught it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's right. There's a reason I stopped. I finally caught myself before making a very inappropriate comment."
It's we need to add a new thing. We've got tangents, we've got insults, and we've got Ryan saying wildly inappropriate things on accident. It kind of makes this show, doesn't it?
I know my place and I know my niche.
Your niche is saying wildly inappropriate things?
There are some more jokes in there.
Yeah.
So, Todd, what else we got? We're skipping Dune.
So who is the God Emperor's favorite composer?
I almost got that.
Johann Sebastian Bach. All right, there we go.
Yeah, there were a couple of people like, where was that even mentioned? I'm like, if you weren't paying attention, then you just can take yourself and take your toys and go into another room. And they didn't like that so much. There were some relatively obscure ones from the Dune group. The Fremen saying, "A man's flesh is his own,
but his water belongs to the tribe."
But his water belongs to the tribe.
Wow, did you just retain that?
Yeah.
So the water retention is strong with you.
Yeah, clearly based on my midriff.
Midriff. Oh my gosh.
So the name of the twins born to Chani and Paul?
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Nobody cares?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Part of the problem with the Dune questions is that...
Leto the Second and somebody.
Leto the Second and Ganima. Part of the problem with the Dune questions is that a few of them were a little bit obscure. Like, how long did the coma last that Paul got put in from having one drop of the water of life? And everybody's like, did it ever even say?
That's a crazy question. I mean...
3 weeks?
What was it? 3 weeks?
3 months.
3 months.
I remember it was a 3.
Oh, nope, 3 weeks. You're right.
That's right.
And then we had the Litany Against Fear, and we said, can you recite the Litany of Fear? And this family's like, oh, our dad can! Shove him up on the stage! And then he stands there and he's like, and his daughter's jumping up. Fear is the mind killer.
All right, Todd. I'll give you a couple more minutes for trivia. What do you want to go through?
So, the Marvel questions were kind of fun.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, you guys really hated those. According to WandaVision series, where do Wanda and Vision take up residence?
And the answer, of course, is New Jersey. And
okay.
And if Shale Ghul works, or if the Death Star is acceptable, then New Jersey is fine. Okay?
You didn't like it that I said Westview. Or that the Hex. I would have accepted the Hex, but yeah, that's not so much. In the movie Captain America, what is the first shield that Steve Rogers uses in a fight?
And this one I knew, and Ryan got wrong. I was very disappointed in you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went with the car door, and everyone's like, oh no, it's a trash can lid. I'm like, it's fine. I haven't watched it in 6 years.
That was
The fact that I remembered the car door is impressive to me.
well, and then the other guy was like, so it was a shield that had the stars and stripes, and it was made of.
He was picturing his actual first uniform shield.
Yeah. And he was like, and it was called, and I'm like, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And he looked so deflated. It was awful. I felt bad for like 13 seconds. In the Disney series Loki, what was the TVA?
The Tennessee Valley Authority.
That would be a no.
Yeah, I mean,
that was nice, but
from a certain point of view.
Time.
No, you
no.
don't get to use that. Do not use that.
That is not an excuse. Time Variance Authority, of course. We all know that. Let's see. Let me see if I can find one of the better ones. How many actors have played Dr. Banner and the Hulk in the MCU? This one caused some controversy too, because people were saying, well, the first one wasn't really. Actually, I think it was you that was saying the first one isn't considered canon in the MCU. But
it's. I mean, this is a bit like saying, like, who is Daredevil? And somebody says Ben Affleck. Well, I'm sorry, that's Marvel Cinematic. You know, whatever. But of course, it's not. So your answer was 3.
Yep.
When the correct answer is 2, unless you want to get
unless
in a
you're
fight.
expanding it. It becomes one of those deals where it depends on who you're talking to.
What was really impressive was, who was it that got up and just? Oh, I think it was an audience member who just got up and rattled off all 3 actors.
Yeah,
like Eric Bana and I don't know
Norton,
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. It was. I was like, I had to look for the other guy's name. It took me a while. I mean, everybody remembers Edward Norton because that was one of the biggest crash and burns that you could do in a Marvel.
That one's not even streaming anywhere. You can rent it, but it's not included in any streaming package, including Disney Plus.
I actually liked the Abomination in that better than I liked the Hulk.
When I went and did my MCU rewatch, I ended up skipping it because I was like, nah, I'm not going to pay $4 for that movie. So
I'm not going to say anything more on that. It's just going to be mean and rude. So then then we did have some, this one was fun. In the potpourri section, which of these books did not win the Triple Crown? The Gods Themselves, The Forever War, and the Yiddish Policeman's Union. Of course,
it was a trick question.
This was a trick question. They all did. Thank you very much for that one.
Todd's like, this was a fun question because Todd loves to think he's clever. Apparently, I love this. So we've had a couple instances now.
Little Red was the one that came up with the question. I just took it and said,
all right,
great,
Little Red,
I love it.
You're the one who thinks you're clever.
She actually gave me like 9 or 10, and she was like, she said they all have one, and I'm like, okay, I can't do all 9 of them. I'm just going to pick 3.
That's funny. That's funny.
And then we did Asimov's 3 Laws of Robotics.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm a human or allow a human to come to harm through your inaction or something like that.
Right.
And then what's the third one, Ryan? I'm struggling to come up with the third one. Obey a human's commands. Unless it contradicts one of the other
first
laws.
2 laws, yeah. It's and those are pretty widely used. A lot of people have taken Asimov's rules and then said, "Oh, yeah, these are great laws for robotics. We'll use these all the time." And so they've just kind of become the 3 universal laws of robotics, and everybody uses them.
Okay,
kind of cool.
Good. Well,
we had a good time, and I hope you guys noticed that when we were doing scoreboard checks, I put up scoreboards that would relate for you. I put up
baseball stadiums.
We had the Seattle Mariners for you, but I put up Real Salt Lake for you. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, I think that was the one right before. Oh no!
Well, now
I put up the Twins for me too.
I'm thinking, everybody now has been to FanX and seen us on stage,
and it was about that good.
It was about that good.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
Megan was prettier than all of us put together, and she was there on stage too. So
Okay, she's not even here, Todd.
Okay. I know, but she's got fans.
That's true. That's true. She's actually, you and she might be the only ones with fans. I don't know. Ken's got a couple.
Yeah,
Stephanie has her own dedicated society.
Oh, that's true. But that's a secret.
I have fans. Yeah. She has a society.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
All right. What else are we talking about today? That was our.
Which basically leaves that Craig and I are tolerated.
I mean, you're not wrong. This is not wrong. Okay. So let's talk about what are you guys watching these days, or what have you watched recently? I'll give you mine to start. Kyle has been bugging me for 5 years. He's been telling me, you have to watch Westworld. You would love Westworld. And it's been one of those things where I just kind of missed the boat. It was never like I'm morally opposed to watching Westworld or something like that. It was just I missed the boat. I didn't really get on there in time. And so, yeah, whatever. I'll leave it. And about a week and a half ago maybe, I'm sitting around, I'm clicking through HBO Max, and Westworld comes up as suggested. And I was like, ugh, I got nothing else to do tonight. Fine, I'll try Westworld. Fast forward about 72 hours, and I text Kyle, and I'm like, well, just finished the first season of Westworld. And he was pretty pleased with that. So have you guys seen that?
I have not.
I haven't.
Wow. The first season, at least, I think there's like 2 or 3 other seasons that I'll make my way through. But the first season is crazy good, and it's also crazy. It's one of those shows that's very, very difficult to recommend outside of a very specific person who is going to be okay with what goes on in that show, because it's horrifically violent and just wall-to-wall nudity. Which makes sense. It's all about like robots, automatons that are, So anyway, lots of sex scenes and all this stuff. But anyway, so it's quite debauched on purpose, because the whole Westworld thing is the concept is debauched. Altered Carbon, oof, yeah, a bit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot more clean and polished than that one. But
wow.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Altered Carbon I loved the first season of that. I still have no idea what happened in it, but I really enjoyed it. So it was a fun ride. Anyway, so yeah, Westworld, I don't know. I guess I bring this up just to say Kyle has been vindicated. And if anybody out there is a big Westworld fan, well, now you can ping me in the TV and movies section on Discord, and we can chat about the first season. If you spoil any more of it, though, I will
defenestrate you,
banhammer you to death. All right. So what are you guys watching these days?
Go.
So aside from my weekly therapeutic session with Ted Lasso,
oh goodness, that has gotten very intense that way, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's still an incredible show, and I highly recommend it to anybody who can deal with language. That's pretty much
that's the only thing. Yeah.
But it's British, so the language really doesn't mean anything.
All I know, it's
do not,
phenomenal.
Todd, under no circumstances should you ever watch Ted Lasso with your wife.
Oh, no.
She would not.
I'm not thinking that I'm going to take my wife to England when I go back. So, because I'm not sure she can just get off the plane and deal with the country, but we'll see.
But other than that, I've almost finished all 9 episodes of the Star Wars Visions that was released this last week.
Ooh,
and
cool.
That's been very unique. I've never been a huge anime person. I've enjoyed a handful of anime productions, but I know how heavily the Kurosawa films and Japanese culture has affected Star Wars or been part of its origin. And so it was interesting to see it kind of return to that a little bit and see some of the alternate takes and pieces on there. There's really, if you're like, I don't know, whatever, I would say that there's like 3 episodes that are like, just watch those 3. You don't have to watch the rest of them if you don't want to. I would say go watch The Ninth Jedi, The Duel. Do not watch Tatooine Rhapsody. I really did not like that one at all.
What is this? You're naming all these things. Or is this like Marvel's What If or something like that?
Semi sort of. What they did is they reached out to 9 of the largest and most prominent anime studios in Japan and said, write a Star Wars story and animate a Star Wars story for this piece. They're about 20 minutes long each.
Okay.
And so none of them are in this, Skywalker saga. Nothing there. It's all
just original.
There. Yeah. So The Ninth Jedi, The Duel, and the something bride. I can't remember what the first word is. Something but the bride. I think those 3 were the ones that I went, wow, it's good. And La Pinocha was also one that I was like, that one, I really enjoyed that one more than I thought I would. So if you want to just dive in there for a little bit and get a taste, that's what I would recommend doing.
Cool.
You don't have to go through and watch all of them. They're not all amazing winners of like, oh, this is mind-blowing storytelling. No,
Yeah.
I'm like I have seen Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon episodes that were
More compelling.
More compelling than this.
This reminds me, the concept of it is interesting, and it reminds me a bit of, did you ever watch Love, Sex, and Robots on Netflix? Where it was kind of that concept where it was all supposed to be animated in some way, to some degree, and then they had, I don't know what the first batch was, 10 or so episodes ranging from 5 minutes to a half hour. And it was all just kind of almost like Black Mirror-ish concepts, but all animated and bizarre. And some of them were really compelling and really great, and others were like, that was a waste of my time. So yeah, it kind of sounds similar to that.
Yeah, but that would be my recommendation on that. And then I started the new Foundation on Apple TV Plus series. I started that.
Oh yeah, I haven't started it yet. They released 2 episodes, is that right?
Yeah, there's 2 episodes out right now. Third will be following next week. And
so without spoiling anything, any good?
I will say it is a slow. The first episode is a bit of a slow burn. It's obviously a lot of exposition and setup. But I think that there's some real potential in the series because I can already see very, very strong performances coming from all of our lead performers. Lee Pace is fantastic,
as always.
Yeah, he's a clone Emperor. If you haven't read Foundation, or if you're not familiar with the Empire, he is Empire, the leader of that. And there's 3 of them. There's a young version of him, the prime adult version, and then the older version, played by Terrence Mann, by the way, for any Broadway aficionados out there.
Okay. Sure.
But
yeah, that sounds like a person. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Terrence Mann. Yeah. If you've ever listened to there's a handful of soundtracks. If you ever listened to, you've heard him before.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you I have not. So this is not me passing moral judgment. I'm just saying I'm not that guy. I don't really know musical theater very well.
There are 5 listeners out there that probably have, though.
There's a lot more than that.
But yeah, I finished the first episode. I had to break it up a little bit. Are
they long episodes?
I think the first one was full hour, a little over a full hour, and I ended up having to watch the last 30 minutes at a different time because I was kind of like, I need to go do something, which is not a great thing for a story to do to give you a moment where you're like, you know what, I'll come back to this. I'm not bored, but the dishes need to get done.
I just finished up today actually watching through Hulu's 9 Perfect Strangers. This Nicole Kidman show. The trailers looked very intriguing, and so I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then after I finished it, I was like, wait, what? I went back and read a review of it, and the reviewer was like, so because Hulu they have commercial-free and a commercial-filled version.
Yeah.
They have commercial breaks built into their episodes for their originals. And this one is no different. And he says, it tells you something that I got to a commercial break at some point and got up to like go get a snack or drink or something, and then came back. Or no, it gave me an excuse to turn on my phone and never gave me a reason to turn it off. Because that's not a good sign for a TV show. And so, yeah, it kind of sounds like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I would say that's very similar to what I had happen with Foundation. But now that I have finished, I look back, I'm like, oh, yeah, there's some really good stuff here. I had a similar experience with the first episode. It sounds like I sit and watch TV all the time, but I really don't.
Hey, we're Americans. Yes, we do.
Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah, I've had a few people recommend this. Do you like it?
The first episode did not have me, like I had no real drive to go back and watch it again, but one of my coworkers said that it was one of his favorite things he's seen in a long time. And I was like, all right, I'll hop back in. And yeah, I'm enjoying it much more. You have to get through first 2-3 episodes, and then everything locks in and you're like, oh, okay.
I'm in. Yeah. It makes me sad that there are a lot of people who don't understand that the absolute joy that it is to watch Martin Short perform anything.
Yeah.
Like that guy is magic.
I've been blown away by the names that they have in that, playing, little side roles as well. It is that the Martin Short, Steve Martin era of comedy. It's like the greatest names from that are all in there. You have Nathan Lane makes an appearance.
It's like going to watch a Grown Ups movie and it's like Sandler and Friends.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yes, but funny. I say that when Adam Sandler's just ridiculously rich anyway, so
Well, so Norm Mcdonald died recently. Somebody asked him a few years ago, said, how did you make it? Yeah, how do you make it? And he's like, well, it's simple. To make it as a comedian in the 90s, you just needed to know Adam Sandler. That's it. That's the trick. So anyway, Todd, have you been watching anything?
So I have, but I haven't been watching an awful lot that's new.
Right.
I've been watching.
Hey, I brought up Westworld. You can bring up whatever you want.
Howdy doody time.
Okay, let's not go quite that far back, and that would be a first run for me. Been watching What If on Disney with my family. We've been enjoying that. My daughter has gotten a kick out of it because she likes when. She really enjoys the idea of taking something that's familiar and just kind of turning it on its head and seeing what you can do with it. And the What If series did that in the comic books, and they've done a really good job with it. I'm glad they brought in Marvel Zombies. If you haven't seen the Marvel Zombie episode, it's worth seeing.
I like that one a lot.
It was fun. And they've done some really interesting things. A couple of them are pretty heavy. They aren't just, the first one was kind of fun. With Agent Carter, Peggy Carter becoming the super soldier. If you haven't seen him and I'm spoiling it for you, I'm terribly sorry. You'll still be surprised, and because I'm not giving anything away that's in the.
Does she have a similar thing where she so Steve Rogers goes in and he comes out just totally jacked?
Yes,
is she
does.
huge?
She does.
Yeah.
But Steve Rogers
does.
But Steve Rogers does not walk forward and try and grab her chest like Peggy Carter did in Captain America. So let's be clear on that. But I've also I also went back and when I'm feeling overwhelmed and nostalgic and don't have an awful lot of time to give to something new, but I need to have something on in the background while I'm working on stuff, I have two go-tos that I almost always will pull up. Battlestar Galactica, the reboot that was mid 2000s, 2007, whatever it was. And Stargate Sg1.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I have gone back and I went all the way through Battlestar Galactica. And yes, I cried on the last episode. I sobbed through the whole last episode. So satisfying. And my daughter's looking at me and she's like, you saw this when it first happened. I know. You're crying again. I know. She said that she was texting my wife and my wife responds and says, is he crying? And she says, yeah, he's crying. Which doesn't surprise any of our listeners either.
We need a Discord channel that is like just Todd's tears, like hashtag Todd's tears. And it's all just like, there's no discussion that happens there other than people pop in and go, hey, is Todd crying? And somebody can respond, yeah, Todd's crying. And just at any given moment of any given day, and we'll just give it like a 20% chance.
It's probably true. Now the Battlestar Galactica, it's a little heavier and it gets to be pretty heavy. So yeah, but Stargate SG1, my goodness, it's just, I'm in the 9th season.
Oh, jeez.
And they've brought Ben Browder on board with Claudia Black, bringing them back from the Farscape days and putting them together, and they are just magic to watch on a small screen. They're so much fun. And looking forward to watching Shang-Chi. That's on my list for later on this week.
Yeah.
Finally, being able to have some time to be able to do that because I'm going to take my daughter and we're going to go watch.
I might watch that.
It's the best thing they've done since
maybe
Endgame.
I'm curious.
That was like 2 years ago.
And it's the best thing they've done since Endgame.
Okay, all right.
I'm curious.
The sheer quantity of what's come out since then. Still.
Yeah. I'm going to be curious to see how they, and I'm sure they have, but I'm going to be interested to see what their end credit scene is and how well it ties into Elementals, because I have the feeling that that's a piece.
There
Oh,
are
wow.
Two end credit scenes.
Okay.
Mid credits and end credits.
Okay, good.
The end
good.
credits one may or may not be worth staying for.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
I'll stay because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm also
Well,
looking forward to, as long as we're on the topic of things that we're watching,
All right.
looking forward to the last of the Daniel Craig James Bonds.
Oh yeah. I'm really looking forward to him not playing James Bond anymore. Not because he's a bad James Bond. He's fantastic, but because he doesn't want to do this anymore, and he made that very, very clear with his performance about 3 movies in.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, you watch these Bond movies that he keeps doing, and he's so bored with this character. And I mean, I can't say I blame him. James Bond isn't the most interesting character in the world to play. He's fun, I'm sure, a fun character to play, but not the most interesting character to play. So I get it. But at the same time, like as an audience member, I remember, what's the one where, he's on top of a train at some point at the beginning of the movie. They're trying to navigate this speeding train. And at some point during that movie, kind of in the first half of that movie, he's in this really intense scene, and the look on his face is so just like, right, but did the check clear? And it took me out of the movie so much that I haven't been able to really recover. Casino Royale is still brilliant, one of the best James Bond movies ever, but
Agreed.
I can't with Daniel Craig as James Bond anymore. Sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it just because I have loved all of the James Bond incarnations. They're enough to take me out of the humdrum routine of my life and let me sit back and watch really, really interesting scenery and really interesting cars get blown up. I love it.
It's nice to go to a movie every once in a while where you leave the theater and get in your car and you're like, like going down the freeway. You're like, oh yeah, I'm freaking James Bond. And no, you're not. Slow down, you idiot.
Yeah. Or you're going to get a ticket.
Those are great movies.
So there you go.
Cool. Oh, and by the way, for anybody who cares to know, I mentioned 9 Perfect Strangers. Don't watch it. Not worth it. It's dumb. Okay. So what else do we want to talk about? I will say, like, it was so intriguing for like 2 or 3 episodes. Is this a cult? Is there like something supernatural going on? And I won't spoil anything. I'll just say it was disappointing. It was very, very bad. So, okay. What else we got going on?
I'm still in the medium of watching, but as of our recording today, the Sandman trailer on Netflix dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
For anybody who is familiar with that series, or if you've heard about it, the fact is, if you've been around the works of Neil Gaiman at all, you have heard at some point in time about Sandman, and maybe to varying degrees about whether or not you should read it or things like that. It's considered to be one of the best comic or graphic novels ever written, apparently.
Okay. I have heard that.
So I was like, okay. And so I've just started the graphic novel side of that. And I don't know if it's still available for free, but it was the other day. Audible has been doing the audiobook version of the graphic novel that Neil Gaiman narrates, and they have a bunch of actors playing voices in it.
Oh.
Volume 1 is free right now.
I might pick that up.
Volume 2 is being released, I think, next month. And so, yeah.
Yours for the low price of a lot.
$89.99.
No, well, probably one Audible credit, which is how I buy all things.
Yeah.
Oh, Audible. Yeah, okay. You were telling me there's like a compendium. You can get all the Sandman graphic novels for like $200 or something.
If you want to go buy all of the graphic novels in their individual setups, you can go to your comic store. You can buy a box set for about $150, or you can buy hardbacks for about $150 or $75 on Amazon. Sorry, comic book shops. $75 on Amazon. You can buy the 3 hardback novels each.
Lord Bezos thanks you.
Yes.
I don't really know anything about Sandman, so I can't say that I'm super excited for it or not. I hope it's good, and I know that it's well regarded. So if it's a good adaptation, I'll be excited to watch it. Kind of similar to Foundation. I never read Foundation, but I'm interested to see what they do with it. Same thing with Dune, although I am going to read that before it comes out. The movie
only got a couple of weeks.
That's okay. I'm not worried about it. I'm excited for Dune. Excited, obviously, for Wheel of Time. I keep trying to tell people. So I run this other YouTube channel that you can go check it out if you want. Reviews.org. I talk a lot about streaming stuff, and a lot of people that comment on my channel there talk about how they hate Amazon Prime and their originals suck, and there's just nothing going on there. Compared to the other ones. And I'm like, you guys.
Expanse has been awesome.
Well, yeah, it's like, so you haven't seen The Expanse, you haven't watched The Boys, you're not excited for The Wheel of Time,
or
I Lord of the Rings.
All about The Boys.
Anyway, so yeah, I think they've got some good stuff. What was it we were going to say about The Wheel of Time, Ryan?
Matt Cawthon has been recast.
Oh, that's right.
And it, through Twitter of Time, hashtag Twitter of Time,
That's a thing?
Oh, yeah, it's a thing.
Into upheaval. Everyone wanted an explanation as to why what's going on? Why is Barney, whatever his name, why did
Fife. Let's go Fife.
why was he dropped, or why did he leave, or why did they recast this role before the first season had even come out? Because recasting sometimes happen after a season comes out if the character's not received well by a certain, or things happen. You can
Right. Or if there's tension among the cast or something like that.
Yeah, but it hasn't even been released yet, and he's already been recast, and they've released the information on that, and so it's like, oh well, what did he do? What did he say? Or what happened? And it's like, well, we don't know. It could be something personal that he doesn't want people to know about, or the studio may just simply be like, this is not information that the audience needs to know. Otherwise, we would have told you in the press release that it was due to family issues. How many celebrities? This is a really dark turn on this, but have been battling things that we didn't know about. Chadwick Boseman and Norm Mcdonald both battling cancer for years, and then all of a sudden they're going like, oh wow, maybe people don't want that part of their life put out there. Who knows what's going on? And I think it would be kind of the fans here to say, okay, you're not the guy anymore.
That's okay. Like, yeah, the thing, I guess, gosh, I don't know how much I intended to talk about this, but we'll talk about it a little. The weird thing to me about this is the amount of anger and passion that people have about a part being recast, and the theories that nigh unto conspiracy theories about what's going on, and clearly there's a Me Too thing happening. No, I mean maybe, but nobody knows what's going on. It drives me crazy to get online and see people going nuts with their conspiracies, and yeah, I'm just thinking just let it be what it is. You'll enjoy the show or you won't. And, after season 2 comes out, you'll be able to say, I like that one better, or I like that one better. And who cares? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Am I wrong? LOL, nothing matters. Am I wrong?
No, not necessarily. I don't know. I think there's also a level of it for people who have been excited and fans who have been waiting for the series to come out. A good portion, I would say, have been really excited by the casting choices for the most part, who's been cast. And they felt that it was a really well-cast show. And so to all of a sudden take a really well-cast show and change a piece in it upsets that feeling you have of, oh, you got it right. And
but we don't know. We don't know if it's well cast. Like they look good in their roles, but we don't know if it's well cast. So anyway, all right, maybe we should leave that one, Todd. Unless you have further thoughts on this show that you don't know or don't care about.
I actually care. I'm excited to see it, but I don't have emotional investment before I see it. So
right.
Ryan, I'm with you. For all the casting I've been involved with over my years of doing shows. Bring somebody in, kick somebody out, bring somebody else in. I mean, let them have their shot. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. I think is this the last thing we want to talk about? What are we going to be reading coming up? So Ryan and I and Kyle.
I guess I should know that.
Well, we're doing the Prydain Chronicles. So we're almost halfway through with that. Those ones are so delightfully quick.
Mm-hmm. And pleasant.
And very pleasant. Yeah, they're nice books. Reading epic fantasy, a lot of times you don't get nice. Mm-mm. You get big and bad and bold and violent and whatnot, but nice is not an adjective you often use for fantasy books, but these are for kids. Yeah. So for anybody who's listening to this and skipped the first 2 Prydain books that we did because you haven't read them or whatever, I would definitely suggest picking them up. Ryan and I don't know about you, but I think that even as an adult, even if you're reading them for the first time as an adult, they are a joyous romp through fantasy land, right?
Absolutely. And that has been made very apparent to me as I just started recently Joe Abercrombie's A Little Hatred.
Oh, sure. So what you're saying is the exact opposite of the Prydain Chronicles?
The hard opposite of the Prydain Chronicles. Made me appreciate them even more. So yeah, they're a quick read, they're enjoyable, and they progress. So far they've been getting better and better as we go too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might be interesting. I believe Abercrombie is on our list on the red team of stuff to read coming up soon. Yeah, the First Law trilogy.
Yes, First Law trilogy.
Okay. Anyway,
I don't remember what the name of this new trilogy. It's same.
Right.
Later on.
So anyway, I believe that's on our list, and that might be fun to do right after Prydain. It's like when you go to the spa and they've got the cold bath and the hot tub right next to each other, and you're jumping between the two, right? Yeah, that'll be fun.
As long as it doesn't give you a heart attack, then you're in great shape.
Well, I'm young and healthy compared to you, Todd. So
young, maybe not healthy.
Just want to mark that moment right there as potential famous last words.
Now, I
just tempted the universe with irony.
Well, he said he was fine.
I read you what our prompt was for today from Lady Sweden. You should treat us to a first-class, super tangenty episode. Trivia, tangents, and insults, she said. That's what she wanted. So
we took care of the insult finally.
I'm trying very hard. You guys are way too nice. I'm trying very hard to make sure that we get something in there. But mostly it's just been about Todd is old. If you're watching on YouTube, you know how ridiculous Ryan's mustache is. If you're not,
this is true.
So he is currently twirling the mustache. What else?
It's a fantastic piece of art, and you should all worship it.
Okay, never gonna happen. Not ever. On the blue team. And as far as books reading, you notice I'm pulling this away from Ryan's mustache as fast as possible.
If only you would pull Ryan's mustache away as fast as possible.
It would require me to touch it, which I will not do. We're finishing up Chapter House Dune. We're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks.
Right.
And we're trying to do that so that we can say that we have done all of the primary Dune
the
novels
actual Frank books before
the release of this new movie, which may or may not wind up being one of the best things that's hit cinema in a while.
Earlier reports are good.
Yeah.
So
I'm really hopeful that I've seen the other adaptations and I liked things about all of them, but I have never liked everything about all of them. So I'm really hoping this one's going to work.
You're never going to like everything. Like you're not going to like everything about this adaptation. Todd.
Well, I'm hopeful.
It's possible.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Maybe.
Interesting also, I am doing a book with Green Team.
Nice.
We actually are going to record, I think, later on this week. Paladin of Souls is the book.
What's that? Wait, I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, I looked it up. I downloaded it off of Audible, and so I've been going through it. And as soon as it pulled up, it said fantasy romance.
Oh, nice.
And I said to myself, "Oh my word, what have I gotten myself into?"
Behold. Okay, all right.
But I've been enjoying it. I won't share anything that I'm going to share on the recording, except to say this: the narrator is the female voice that does all of the Stormlight Archive.
Oh, Kate Redding.
And so I've just been enjoying her narration, her acting narration.
She's immensely talented. So she and her husband, Michael Kramer, I believe they're married, might be partners, whatever. They have a little YouTube channel, and they put out a really funny video. You know the old thing about, it's like, I could listen to X read the phone book,
yeah.
Right? I just love their accent so much. So they pulled down a can of soup from the cupboard and read the label on the can of soup. 130 milligrams sodium, like that kind of thing, and it's actually pretty funny, and it's so epic and wonderful, and it's they really proved that saying right.
Cool stuff.
So, what are you guys doing after Dune? Do you know?
So we've been looking at doing Foundation, Asimov, in conjunction with the fact that this has come out. But the other thing that we've got that I think it's coming out in November is the third installation of the Starsight series from Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So that we've got that as a placeholder, and as soon as it's available, we're gonna dive into that one and finish that trilogy off.
For those who don't pay super close attention, aren't capital V, capital O very online, you might not know that there's a mini convention happening in conjunction with the release of that book.
Yep.
And so if you are interested, you should come out to Utah, because I'm getting in touch with the Sanderson people. Maybe we can do something in programming there, do
That'd
like
be cool.
a Legendarium show, or open up a booth or something like that. So we'll be there, I'm sure. So people should come out.
Yeah, his release for the last one, Starsight, I think it was, a few of us went down to, and that was far larger than they had anticipated.
Oh my gosh, they're nuts. These releases are crazy.
It was really astounding.
Yeah, I think so. My theory is they're doing this little mini con, they're calling it, in conjunction with a Starsight release, because that will be smaller than a Stormlight, but still plenty big. And this is basically like a dry run, right? So, and then in a couple of years they'll be doing a Stormlight, or next year they'll be doing Mistborn.
Next year, Mistborn. Yeah, the next Wax and Wayne.
Anyway, so
Cytonic is what it's called.
Cytonic, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start wrapping it up here. I've got a shout out. Actually, I've got to pull up my shout out so I don't forget the actual name. Shout out to Josh Heffley. So I went out yesterday.
Oh yeah, you were telling us about this.
Yeah, I went out yesterday to an Oktoberfest celebration. It was tons of fun. I'm wandering around. I'm by myself, and somebody says, "Hey, is that a Legendarium shirt?" And it was, because I own like 12 of them, and so I'm wearing them almost all the time. And so anyway, so I was like, yeah, it is. And Josh was sitting with some friends of his, and he's a big listener to the show, so I wanted to give he and his friends a good shout out. To give him and his friends a good shout out. They were just a riot to sit with for a little while at Oktoberfest and eat crappy German food, but I repeat myself. And just have a fun conversation with.
Way to alienate an entire country's worth of listeners. All 6 of them over there
It
now
was
just turned off.
Well, no, it's I think we can all.
Nope.
It's not controversial to say that the Germans are not known for their high cuisine.
Okay, you need to stop.
You need
a
to
stop. Good bratwurst. I mean,
the bratwurst was great. The
schnitzel.
Did
you have
look,
schnitzel?
All I'm saying.
Did you have meatloaf?
All I'm saying is that it wasn't great. Okay, a culture that can come up with sauerkraut probably needs to like just back away from the kitchen slowly. Leave it to the French.
Wow.
So what are you?
This is it.
Ryan, are you saying you love German food?
No, not at all.
You just wouldn't say what I'm saying out loud. Is that what you're getting at?
My family heritage is German, so I come to the defense of my people like 5-10 generations back.
My last name is Hanks. I'm not shying away from my bohemian roots here, okay? I'm just saying it's not the greatest cuisine in the world, okay?
Yeah, but let's be fair. The Germans didn't come up with lutefisk, so
I don't know what that is.
Somewhere, if we have any listeners from Norway or that have Norwegian backgrounds and they hear the word lutefisk, they will tell you.
What's lutefisk?
It's salted herring.
Oh yeah, no, I've had that. It's pretty good. I actually like it. Okay.
Wow.
Pickled herring.
And
yeah.
So we now have established Craig's bar here.
So the German food he had must have been really bad.
Apparently.
To be fair, this was German food in Salt Lake City, and so I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Made by
if someone out there is like you're so wrong, and I'm so passionate about Craig being wrong that I'm going to fly him out to Germany to sample all of the delicious German food. Like, great, prove me wrong. Okay?
We just should take you to Siegfried's Deli. Get you some good schnitzel.
Okay, all right, Todd. Well.
Maybe
anyway, so shout out to Josh and everybody else. It was a great time. All right, guys, let's call it there. You good? You good?
I'm
good.
So.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Ryan didn't want to be here in the first place, so I think he's good.
So Ryan came here to make sure that I was protected from Craig.
I'm sorry. I just need a moment here to deal with the feeling of the bus that I'm currently under.
All right, everybody. Well, I'm not even going to bring up Patreon because this sucks.
Yeah. If this made you want to give us money, please do go to Patreon.
Yeah, I guess
the rest
so.
Of it should be a lot better.
I guess so. Go to thelegendarium.com if you dare. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next time.